All right, welcome to newspaper. I thought since I will be starting the year absent, I should make a video just to explain some of the things that are very important for this course. So the first thing, a little bit about me. So my name is Mrs. Egger. So you've probably seen me, or some of you already know me or have been in newspaper before. This is my dog Yoda. I have another dog named Leia. And yes, I am a Star Wars fan, but I named my dogs before all the new Star Wars movies came out. So I'm really a fan of the original three. But I do like Star Wars. I, at the time of making this film, have a daughter who is a little bit wild. She will wear a fire hat and a tutu at the same time. The reason I'm out is supposedly at the time you're viewing this, might have another. I am an author. My first book that I published is called Corgi Capers, and it's a mystery series for kids. I have 3 books out in that series. I have several young adult books out. One of them, called The Scarred Letter, is actually about a student journalist gone rogue. So I do that in my spare time. I write under my maiden name, Val Muller. I am the advisor to the school's literary magazine, and later this year I'm going to bug everyone for submissions. So if you write short stories or poetry or artwork or anything like that, I'm going to be asking you for some submissions. And then, of course, the reason you're here, I sponsor the school paper, the Loudoun Raider. So this is our goal this year, is to produce 4 issues in print of the Loudoun Raider, and those 4 issues will be uploaded to the internet in PDF form, and we're also going to produce a constantly updated online version of the paper. And this online version is where pieces can go that don't necessarily fit in the regular paper, or maybe they're so timely that we want to publish them right away rather than waiting till the end of the quarter. So, course overview. I've taken important elements of the syllabus and put them into this presentation just to make sure we're highlighting everything that's important. So, you guys should have taken Intro to Journalism. A few of you maybe haven't and got special permission from me. But what that means is you should be strong writers. You should have a sense of how news stories work. They're very formulaic. So if you haven't written a lot of news stories, it's almost boring in the formula that you have to follow. But using that formula, you make it interesting by presenting good information and by presenting it in ways that will engage the reader. So this course has students that are enrolled in newspaper 1 and 2. I don't think there's any newspaper 3 students this year. So of course, our main goal is to publish the newspaper, but we also want to look at the best practices in layout, in journalism, and design, and photography. Sometime in October, I think, we should be getting back our judging results from VHSL. We sent 3 issues of our paper from last year to the Virginia High School League to be critiqued. And so when we get that back, we can take a look at what they said worked really well and what maybe needs to be improved. So the goal is constantly improving. All right, some of the nitty-gritty stuff. So grading, summative and formative, all your grades are going to come from summative work. So yes, there will be some little formative things, but most of the assignments will be summative. Smaller assignments worth fewer points, bigger assignments worth more points. Because newspaper is a production class, just like yearbook, there are certain things that we cannot procrastinate on. So if you know what procrastination is, try to forget the definition of procrastination. We want to make sure we're doing everything on time. Most class periods after the first unit, which is newspaper boot camp, basically, most of the days that we have class are going to be dedicated to production. So you're going to be researching, interviewing, writing your articles, going out and getting pictures. So it's important that you use class time to produce this paper. Everyone in here is going to be required to write 2 publishable pieces per quarter. They'll either be published in the print version or the online version, possibly both. Deadlines are essential. In the publishing world, in the real world, you cannot exist without deadlines. So part of your grade for anything related to the newspaper, the online or the print edition, is a deadline grade. You cannot receive credit for articles that are written after the issue has already gone to print. You cannot receive credit, for example, we have to sell ads. Every quarter, students have to sell 1 advertisement or make 3 attempts at selling ads. You cannot receive credit for ad attempts or ad sales if you wait until after the deadline. We have to do layout, and in order to do layout, we need to see how much space we have for pictures and articles. In order to see how much space we have for pictures and articles, we need to know how much space we have to save for advertisements. Our paper is completely funded by ads that you as a staff sell. And so obviously that's the most important thing to make sure makes it into the paper. So to that end, we need to have ad sales completed by the date they're due. That way our editors can plan and see how much space we have for actual articles. Related to grades, everyone in here is going to have a production grade. So you'll have some grades for your 2 articles, you'll have some grades for assignments that we do that are practice, that'll kind of polish your skills. But you're also going to have a production grade. And this means you're contributing actively to our publication. You can earn production credits for doing things like taking pictures. If we have an additional article that needs to be written that no one has been assigned, you can earn production points for that. Some of you willing to take on leadership responsibilities, you can earn production points for that. So you'll be given a production sheet, and there's different ways to earn these points. Everyone, assuming you're present in class, will earn production points for peer editing, your peers' articles, and you'll earn production points for carefully editing our issue. We want to make sure it's as typo-free as possible. If you look at last year's issue, there's one front page article where there was a big typo in the headline. Nothing embarrassing, but none of us caught it. So we need to be a little more diligent in making sure everyone reads really, really carefully. Your advertising grade is 100 points. It's a super easy grade to get. All you have to do is try to sell 1 ad. Most people will say yes to a business card size ad. It's fairly affordable and it's a great deal. Buy 3, get 1 free. If you sell 3 and they get 1 free, you're done for the year. You literally have 100 points, A+ on this assignment for all 4 quarters. So that's my recommendation. Try to find someone willing to buy a business card size ad 4 times for the year. Rather than go through a list of rules, that seems kind of petty, I want to highlight respect. Essentially, if you have respect, you're hitting every other rule that's important. So with any publication, with any project that you're working on, anytime you work with a team, respect is really the most important thing. So for a class to run smoothly, we have to have a professional demeanor. We're going to be discussing topics, we're going to be planning our issues. We need to make sure everyone's focused, everyone has a voice, everyone's taking part in the paper. Don't assume that other members of the staff are going to do the paper for you. So respect yourself by bringing your best work and effort every day. Respect me and our publication by adhering to deadlines, following through on anything you promise. Responsibilities, promises. If you say you're going to take a picture of a sporting event, that means the entire staff is counting on you to be there for that sporting event. So if you find out you can't go, you need to let us know as soon as possible. If it's 10 minutes before the event, it's too late to find someone to fill that spot. So respect everyone. When we talk about our issue and planning our issue, make sure you're considering all ideas and opinions. The newspaper should be something that is relevant to the entire student body, not just the people in this classroom. During discussions and work sessions, I know we're all addicted to our cell phones, but we need to stay focused. I don't need you guys to be sitting here playing games or watching videos. I need you to be focused on doing the best interviews you can. There is always, if you look at all our articles from last year, there's always something that could be done to improve. If you're assigned a leadership role, make sure you follow through on what's promised. This might require time outside of class. Loudon Vision. I'm sure most of you have used Loudon Vision before. As soon as you're able to, if you get your devices or if you have your phones handy and are not paying attention to something in this video, so don't do it now, when you have some downtime, go to Vision, and you can get there from LCPS Go, or just go to the Vision site, vision.lcps.org. Find the course. It's HS-LCH-Agri-newspaper. If you just do a search for my last name, you should see it. There's a one-time enrollment key. It's Raider, all lowercase. Once you enroll, you're going to find a lot of different resources. So definitely when I'm back, I post all the lessons on the calendar links. So if you were absent today, I'd post the link for this video. But there are also on the front page of that vision course, there are also lots of resources that you can find to help you to be a better newspaper writer. So there's resources related to writing, interviewing, photography, etc. There's AP formatting tips, and I'll constantly update the front page of the course with resources as I find them. So a little bit of an overview of first quarter and just how quarters are going to go in general. First quarter is a little bit different just because we've had some different backgrounds. Some people have had intro to journalism, some people got special permission, some of you have been in yearbook or still are in yearbook. We're going to start quarter one with a couple days of boot camp, essentially. So this is where we're all going to get on the same page in terms of getting ideas. You're going to have to do a brainstorming assignment where you interview 3 faculty members or 3 adults at the school for ideas. For this assignment, you have to interview 3 people that have not been interviewed already. So your first question to them should be, did someone interview you from newspaper staff this year? And if they say yes, okay, thank you for your time, I gotta go find someone else. So the first thing you're gonna do is try to find 3 people. And the sooner you find them, the easier it is because no one else in the class will have found them already. You're gonna bring some ideas to our first staff meeting. We're gonna throw all these ideas onto the board, decide which ones are the strongest, and from that, each of you is going to be assigned 2 story topics to write for the quarter. So the more interesting your ideas are, the better. In the past, one of the complaints I got on feedback forms that I had students fill out was the topics I wrote about were boring. But the thing about that is, you guys are in charge of choosing your topics. Of course, they are subject to administration approval, but the more interesting you make it, the more interesting they'll be for you to write, the more interesting they'll be for readers to read. So it's up to you, just like any journalist, to find good stories. So we're going to then be talking about interview skills, how to get people to answer if they're not good at interviewing or if they're hesitant to share information. You're going to be interviewing and writing about a classmate. We're going to look at news stories and how they work. We'll do a refresher course for most of you, a quick look at the 7 rules of photo composition. We're going to get some yearbook students in here to talk about digital SLR basics, looking at the newspaper cameras, and we'll do an InDesign tutorial, and that's our layout program. We have 2 returning staff members who are going to be doing layout, but we'll need someone to step up for next year after they graduate, and they can always use help. So anyone who's interested in learning InDesign, this is a good start. And it's an industry standard program, so this will be really helpful to you, not just this year, but if you go into any kind of publication in college. The way that most quarters are going to look, it's going to be focused on production. Now, each quarter as needed, we might do some refresher activities on skills that might be lacking. But in general, we'll start the quarter with a staff meeting. Each staff member is going to be assigned into a team. So maybe this quarter you're on sports. You'll be writing sports articles for that quarter. Maybe the next quarter you're in arts and entertainment. So when we share ideas, maybe you have a great arts and entertainment idea for the quarter, but you're in sports that quarter. Someone else might be writing your arts and entertainment idea. So you want to have really strong ideas. The better the ideas, the better off everyone is. We're then going to basically go into production mode. So I have brainstorming sheets for every type of article. I have we're going to do drafting in terms of interview questions. We're going to do drafting in terms of structuring your stories, planning, taking photos, peer editing, lots of revisions. So you're going to revise with your peers, with your teacher, with a section editor potentially. Final draft, once it's totally ready to go, we're going to publish online, and there's further instructions later on for how to do that. I'm going to be posting for you, so I'll need the article, a photo, and a caption. And then subject to space limitations, we're going to publish in print. So everyone will get published with both articles online. And then depending on how good the story is or how timely or how relevant, you'll also get published in print. Something to consider. I've been trying for 2 years to get the staff interested in designing a t-shirt. We've had some enthusiasm, but then no follow through. So if you are interested, I know Yearbook has t-shirts that they wear like on distribution day. I think it would be cool if we all had t-shirts, and then on days when the newspaper was out, we could walk around school in the morning, you know, wearing our t-shirts, handing out copies of the newspaper to raise awareness and distribution. So if anyone's interested, if you go to customink.com, we've ordered shirts from them in the past. There's lots of design templates, so you can design a shirt. I think you can start with some already designed templates and then edit them. If anyone wants to give that a shot, you can save your design using your email address and then you can share them. So go ahead and try it out. If you have something, share it with the class, bring it up with your teacher, and we can vote on the best one. I think it's $20 or less for a t-shirt, depending how many people buy a t-shirt. So if you guys get me a design and tell me how many people want to buy t-shirts, I can give you a price, and then we can collect money and have our t-shirts ready for our first issue distribution. The other thing is, in room 104 on the floor should be a box with our Q4 issue in it. We have lots of copies left over because the copies arrived just after the seniors left for senior outreach last year, and we were supposed to distribute them during graduation, but everyone got distracted and forgot. So I want you guys to think about distributing Q4 issues right now at the start of the year to raise awareness, to remind people that we have a newspaper. So the 5 Radar hotspots, if they don't already have issue 4 in them, I would stick some in the 5 Radar hotspots. If you want to take the newspaper around to study halls, that would be something to do. Leave some in the library. But just to raise awareness that yes, we have a newspaper, you can expect 4 issues this year, and something to be proud of.